Welcome. You've come to a quiet space where ancient courage still whispers, where stones once slung in faith echo across generations, where even the smallest voices rise like prayers in the dark. Tonight, we return to a valley not found on modern maps, a place where two nations stood still, where fear took root in men's hearts, and where one shepherd boy stepped forward. This is the story of David and Goliath, but not as you've heard it in battle cries or children's songs. Tonight we slow the rhythm, we let the silence speak, the weight of armor, the hush before a single stone flies. We linger in the shadows of tents. Let your breath settle, let your heart open, and let this timeless tale guide you as we begin. In the Valley of Elah, the sun hangs heavy over the Valley of Elah. Golden grass sways in the hush between camps. Two hills rise like quiet witnesses, and between them, a silence thick with waiting. On one side, the Israelites, tents clustered like pebbles, soldiers murmuring prayers beneath dented helmets, fear coils in their stomachs, tightening with each sunrise. And on the other, the Philistines. Their champion steps forward once more, Goliath, towering, bronze glinting, his voice a low thunder across the valley. "Send me a man," he calls. Each word drops like a stone into the hearts of those listening. No one answers. Day after day, he returns, unbothered, unshaken, unchallenged. Among the Israelites, the name Goliath becomes a weight, a shadow that stretches longer than the day itself. Men look away, even the brave hesitate, and still, the valley waits. The wind passes through barley and spear tips. The earth holds its breath. In a nearby village, far from the front lines, a shepherd tends his sheep, unaware that he too is being called forward. But for now, in Elah, giants stand. Soldiers shrink, and the ground aches for courage. He didn't come to fight. He came with bread. David, the youngest, a shepherd boy with sun-darkened skin and sand-cracked hands, something stirred, had been sent by his father to bring food to the front. He carried loaves, not swords. And yet, he heard the challenge, felt the fear, saw the way men avoided eye contact when Goliath's voice rang out again. But David didn't shrink. What will be done for the one who defeats him? He asked. They laughed. A boy? Asking about warriors? But David didn't flinch. His courage wasn't loud. It didn't boast or posture. It came from quiet places, from fields where he wrestled lions in the dark, from lonely nights under stars, singing songs to God while others slept. He told the king stories of sheep stolen and reclaimed, of strength found in fear, of victories no one had witnessed but heaven. "I faced worse," he said, "and the same God who saved me then will save me now." They tried to dress him in armor, heavy bronze that clanked and slid, but it didn't fit. It never had. David chose a staff, a sling, 5 smooth stones from the riverbed. Weapons born of wilderness, familiar, true. He wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the tallest, but David was ready. Not because he had no fear, but because he walked with something stronger, faith. The valley held its breath. On one side, a boy with a sling. On the other, a giant clothed in bronze and arrogance. Goliath laughed, mocked, cursed. "Am I a dog?" he roared, "that you come at me with sticks?" David didn't shout, didn't posture. He looked up and spoke plainly. "You come with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord. No armor, no shield, just truth." He ran, not away, but forward. A flash of movement, a stone list from leather, air split with precision. The sound, not thunder, just silence. Then, collapse. The giant fell. Dust curled into the sky. Crowds froze. Then cries shock, disbelief, and finally praise. David stood, breath steady, not triumphant, just faithful. He didn't need to be the biggest. He only needed to be ready. The battlefield was quiet, but in the silence, everything had changed. David returned not as a boy, but as a symbol, not of power, but of presence. He had not only defeated Goliath, he had shattered something deeper, the belief that fear must win. Israel stirred awake, not just in body, but in spirit. One act of courage had broken the spell of dread, and the people remembered that faith could still lead, that the smallest could still speak for heaven. David did not rush to the throne. There would be caves, exile, betrayal, but his story would be marked by that valley, that sling, that moment when belief stood taller than any giant. Even years later, when kings rose and fell, when nations forgot, the tale endured. Not because of the size of the victory, but the stillness of the faith that led to it. So now, let the valley fade. The stones are quiet again. The sling rests, the shadow of the giant has dissolved into memory. And David, he returns to the sheepfold in your mind, just a boy again, just a voice under stars. A heart that chose faith over fear, presence over performance, God over glory. Let your breath follow that rhythm now, slow, gentle, grounded. Because sometimes the giants we face are not made of flesh, but of silence, doubt, waiting. And like David, we meet them not with armor, but with trust. Not with noise, but with stillness. So tonight, let the story live in your body as rest. Let your own sling be empty. There is no battle left to fight. Only the soft hush of peace, the gentle strength of a heart that listens, and the calm knowledge that what's meant for you cannot be undone by fear. Sleep now, not in victory, but in assurance. The story is already yours, and the valley is quiet again.